So, Joey, the last time I heard you was on the Jeremy Vine show in an interview. It got very heated.
It did. It did.
Too heated for you?
Well, I think the passion was justified. I mean, Jeremy, a nice gentleman, but I don't think he's spent as many hours as I have out the front of the gas chambers where they lower pigs into carbon dioxide gas and they thrash in their very last moments. So I can understand why he could say something so insensitive or leave a piece of a dead pig on his table to wave in my face.
So he had a ham sandwich.
He did, and he made a point of pointing that out to me. But that's fine. I mean, people are going to ridicule something they don't understand. And if he'd seen what I'd seen, he would not be so insensitive about it. But again, it's justified passion. It wasn't anger.
Yeah.
If people had seen from the other side, so.
And Johnny Dulcie, let's speak to you because you're at Fen Farm in Colchester. You farm milk butter.
Sorry, it's Bungay in Suffolk.
Sorry, OK, correction. Milk, butter, cheese, 3 generations of family. But you find that the campaigning over the last few months has got definitely much more intense, you've noticed.
Well, for us personally, not really. We've gone about getting on with farming and doing what we do, and then it just kind of everything changed about a week ago when we just put a nice post out on Facebook.
What was the post?
We had triplets for the first time ever in our farm.
Calf triplets.
Calf triplets.
It's a very rare occurrence
not
with a cow. Yeah.
And what was the reaction?
Good for the first day. Lots of nice comments, and it's just a fun little story. And then all of a sudden, one vegan quite nasty comments appeared on there, and before we knew it, it just over the next 24, 48 hours, it just erupted into this thousands upon thousands of views and vegan comments of really, really horrible
and
things.
Also quite threatening towards you and your own family.
It just got worse and worse. There was a few of our supporters and customers who put nice comments on there about the calves to begin with, and there was abuse aimed at them for buying our products, and then it just got worse and worse, and words like murderers, rapists, all of these kind of things started coming onto our feed.
Well, you have used those words, that farmers can be compared to rapists and
Okay,
murderers.
so I want to just publicly say that I condemn any death threats and any name-calling. That's not the way I advocate. But I think we need perspective in this situation. Now, the dairy industry are responsible for separating families. When these calves are born, they are taken away from their mother, OK? That milk will be given to human beings, OK? Now, those calves, if they're born a boy, they'll be bolt gunned in the head, sometimes on their first day of life, OK? And the female calves will suffer the same fate as their mother, which is forcible impregnation. They're not getting pregnant naturally, forcefully. A fist into the cow's anus, OK? They harvest the semen from a bull, and we all know how they do that, and then they inject that semen into the cow, OK? And then when she's pregnant, they take her calf away from her. And this is why they call it, vegans might call it kidnap, and when she can't produce milk anymore, she's murdered for her body, OK? A mother.
And so the rape is the insemination?
Well, it's forcible impregnation, isn't it? If it was anyone, it's the victim. If it was a human being, we'd call it what? What would we call it?
But it's not a human being, it's a cow.
It's forcible, it's sexual abuse.
So just want to check, and just being absolutely sure, there is no difference in the laws of nature for you than there would be between human and animal form.
If we're sexually violating a sentient being, just like us, they experience consciousness just like us, we're sexually violating them against their will, that is immoral. They cannot give consent for this.
So how do you answer that then, as farmers? How do you...
I find that really offensive. Sorry, Dos. The word rapist, to use that word for inseminating a cow, I feel is wrong.
So you think that being called a rapist is immoral, but the act of sticking your hand inside of a cow without their consent isn't immoral?
I think it's important to talk about the terminology here because one thing that's been very apparent to us, so one of our posts has inadvertently gone viral, and this is what has made the tabloids and global news this week. And if you look through the 1,000 or so comments on this post, there are 3 words that are consistent in a lot of these comments from vegan activists. Rape, murder and slavery, OK?
What happens to your cows?
Would you mind if I finish?
What happens to your cows when they cannot produce milk anymore? For you.
Would you mind if I finish this sentence? I'm very, very happy to address...
We will come on to that one.
I'm very happy to address all aspects of this, but would you mind me finishing the sentence? These 3 words, rape, murder and slavery, are consistent. Now, these are words that, first of all, are fairly inaccurate when applied to our farming practices. Rape is an act of sexual predation. murder is an act of one human being purposefully killing another human being. Slavery is the enslavement of one human being by another human being.
Okay.
Now, I think that the use of these words, whilst...
So you're playing word games. Let's talk
No,
about
we're
the
not.
act.
We're not.
Let's talk about the act. You're taking an animal's life against their will.
What is happening?
Is that moral, to take an animal's life against their will? Call it murder. Call it taking an animal's life against their will. Okay? How is that moral? It's not humane to take an animal's life.
Can I just talk about the terminology?
Let's talk about the act.
Can I just say, animals kill animals, though?
That's what I was then going
how
on
does
too
that...
hard.
I mean,
Animals rape each other in the wild too. We cannot point to nature and say that that's moral. Okay, we're a civilised society. To take someone's life against their will is savagery.
Actually, I think...
Would you agree? Do you think it's humane?
It's not my point. I'm just...
I think when you have to look at nature, you have to look at the human being, you have to look at the last 200,000 years and how we've evolved and what we've become. We have billions of people in this world, and everyone has to be fed. We, as human beings, eat meat and vegetables, like many other species. 270-odd species on this planet eat meat, of which all of those animals very often actually eat another animal in a far worse way than actually
we don't need to for our health. We don't need to. It's unnecessary.
Just biologically and in our development as a species, we've grown canine teeth.
Where?
Canine
Show me
teeth.
yours.
Well,
they look very flat and blunt, like a cow's
that's
teeth.
the molars at the back.
So,
but the canines were developed to chew meat,
it's
to bite
unnecessary
meat.
to eat meat
but
to
I
be healthy.
developed teeth to do that. So why have I developed teeth to do that?
Just because you can eat an animal doesn't make it moral to do so, OK? We can be healthy and healthier eating plant-based foods. This day and age, don't look 100,000 years ago when we had to do it to survive. This day and age, it's unnecessary to put innocent beings inside of a gas chamber or into a slaughterhouse, OK?
Is there any for you guys here, two very different arguments, is there any middle ground at all? Is it possible for you to understand the farmers, to work with the farmers?
Yeah, we want them to farm plant foods, OK, that don't scream in terror in a gas chamber, OK, that aren't sentient beings that deserve moral respect and their own liberty, OK? The animals do not have a choice in this. They're making money off the backs of animals, and the consumers are responsible for this. The consumers are paying for it to happen. So,
does the animal which is in the wild who gets pulled down by the lion or the tiger, does that feel any better for being
that doesn't
killed?
justify killing each other. Just because lions kill in nature, that doesn't justify killing each other.
We live in a world where there's always going to be death. There's always the food chain.
It feels as though the two of you are so polar opposites that there will never be a way.
I think that we're not actually as opposite.
So we're not opposite. We're very, very absolutely fine with vegetarians and vegans. Dulcie's actually a vegan when she was a child.
Just one final thing, Zoe, if I can. What about those long-standing farming communities, the communities that have been built up around farming, all the people involved in farming?
When we're looking at issues of injustice, we always look at it through the eyes of the victim, not the oppressor, OK? Animals are having their throats slashed open for an unnecessary reason, OK? Farmers are sending them on trucks to slaughterhouses. We don't need them to survive or to be healthy. We can eat plants.
OK, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All of you. Thank you
very
for coming in. Right, lots more to come. We'll see you after this break.